Welcome again, our dear students, my dear students in ICT 111 class. So we are already in Unit 4. We have VB.NET Conditional Statement. So in this lesson, you'll be able to apply a statement which allows the program to make a decision. So the very concept of this unit is what we call decision-making structure, which require that the programmer specify one or more conditions to be evaluated or tested by the program. So along with a statement or statements to be executed if the condition is determined to be true, and optionally other statements to be executed if the condition is determined to be false. So I'll be having some demonstration of this unit or of this topic. So we shall be performing the exercises contained in this lesson. I hope you can go along with me. So we'll just make use the putting of a remark to a grade. Okay, so that you'll have idea about how you are to make a program that will specify a remark based on the given data or grade of a student. Okay, so without much ado, let's now move on with our exercise. So this is our Visual Basic window. So we will create new project and Windows Forms application. So the first thing we are to do is to make a program interface or an object, okay, of our program. So this is form 1. We shall be putting our necessary controls here. So I think we need 3 different controls, namely the text box where we are to enter the data, the label where we are to display the text for the description or remark, and then the button that will handle the program execution so that it will demonstrate or execute the code that we have. So let's start it now. So in the toolbox here, we are to add a text box. Okay. Next, we can expand the form. Next, we are to add a label where we want the description be displayed later. Then, a button where we are to click if we want the program to perform the demonstration or the execution. So we can actually change the size or the properties of our object. We are to do it one by one. So let's try to follow the specified settings here in our handouts. Okay. So the name of our uh, text box is text txt grade. The name of our label will be LBL output. Okay, so we are to set those properties. We will set the name of our text box. We can click at the text box, then move to properties window here. So this is already the properties of our text box. You will know because you will see here the name of a particular control, the active control. So it's text box 1 by default. So we are to look for its name property here in the properties window. So we already have the name property of the text. We had changed it earlier. So txt grade. Let's move on to the label control. So all we have to do is just click at the control, then move to the properties window to adjust its settings. So we'll try to look at the name property of this button or of this control. Then we change it into uh, LBL output. So usually we use the three letter descriptive of the control name or the nature of the control. Like if it is label, we use LBL. If it is text box, we use TXT. Okay, so LBL output. Then we'll just erase later the content or the text of the label. So In order for us to adjust the size of our control, we are to just change the size property here, or the four, I think it's four properties. Let's try to look at four. Okay, font property. Let's just change the font property, the size. Click OK if it's done. Okay, so we already have this size of our label. So that's what also we are to do with the text box. Okay, so we just have to click at the control, then look for its font, change its size into the desired size, then click OK. Okay, so later if we run the program and there is already content in this control, you will see the result of the change. So we'll erase the content of the label. So let's move on to the text property of this control to erase it. Okay, so we also have to change the text of the button one into OK. So try to look for the text property, text, change it into OK. Okay, so also the form, we are to change the text here in the form. Let's click the form before we look for its property, or the text property. Change it into if statement. Click at here. Okay, so you can see the difference now, the change now, it's if statement. So we can see it in the title bar of the form. Now, we want that the program will display here the description, which is passing grade, if the entry here in this text box is the value or our values greater than 75. Okay, so we can allow, or we can enable the program to make a decision using the if statement. Okay, so let's start now the coding. So since the button is our event handler, or upon click of this button, the execution will happen, we are to do the coding here. Okay, so we are to double click. That means we are to start coding here. Okay, I haven't changed the name of the button, but it's okay. So let's start the coding now. We'll first declare the variable dbl grade as double. Enter. Okay. Next, what do we mean by dbl grade here? So we are to specify dbl grade is the value contained in the text grade. That means in the text box. So that means whatever is the text that is typed by the user will be the value, or the what we call double grade, the value of a double grade. So let's start the if then statement, or the if statement now. If double grade is greater than, or if the value is greater than or equal to 75, then specify. You want to specify here now where what will happen if the result is true. Okay, so we want that the program will display in the label. Okay, the text of the label will be something like that: passing grade. Okay, so that's it. This is the what we call one line if statement. Okay, passing grade. So if you want to check the code if it is correct, we shall start debugging or run the program. Let's run the program. Click this button. So you can see here the runtime, okay, the runtime session, or the program that is running. So let's try to enter or put here text. So let's say 56. Okay, so no description because we didn't specify here the description for the for this kind of values, which is lesser than 75. But if we are to put here 76, which is greater than 75, and click OK, a description, which is passing grade, will appear because this is a true value. And this is the instruction that we've made in this event. Okay, so let's just close the runtime. Let's go back to our coding. So that's about the one line if statement or if then statement. What if there are other values you have entered in the program? What if I want to enter, or I enter values lesser than 75, okay, like 56. So there must also be a description here. So at this time, we should be adding here the use of the if or the else statement. So else statement. So try to look at your handouts. So how do we apply else statement? So for the rest of the entry, we are to specify the following text. Okay, so else, you don't have to specify here the condition. You just have to specify what will happen if otherwise, okay, if the data entry is not specified by the programmer. So still, we are to make use of the label where we want the text to be displayed. Text equals. Then failing grade. So if the value is less than 75, that would mean failing grade. Okay, the program will display a label which is failing grade. So let's try to run the program. We shall click the run button here, or the start debugging button here. So you can see here the program. So if I'll enter value which is greater than or equal to 75, then the remark will be passing grade. If I'll enter values less than 75, like 74 for example, if I'll click at the OK button, then it will change into failing grade because the value is less than 75. So that's how the if then statement works with the use of else. Okay, so let's end the debugging session. So let's move on to another statement. So we should be using another if, or this is the what we call nested if statements. Okay, so we shall be adding, what if you have three or more remarks to be included in this decision making? Okay, so what if you want to specify a good description, good if the grade is 75 to 85 or 84, very good if the grade is 86 to 90, and so on. Okay, so let's try to use that statement. So we shall be doing or add the statement here in between the if and the else. So we shall be adding here the if or else if statement. Okay, but before we do that, we first have to specify here our range. Okay, so we'll not be using the passing grade anymore. We shall be changing this later. So we shall be specifying a range, and we'll be using logical operator, which is AND. Okay, so let's say double grade is greater than 75, and it's less than or equal to 84. Okay, let's say 84. So what will happen? What do we want the program to do if the result of the statement or the entry is true? Okay, then we shall be changing this now into good. Okay, so the program will remark good label to the entry, okay, to the enter data. So else if not, okay, we'll set another condition here. We'll be using else if statement. So else if double grade is greater than 84, that is 85. Let's just change the values. Okay, 85 and less than or equal to, let's say, 94, then what will happen? Okay, so we'll just make use of this. Let's just change the description. So highlight and copy and paste. I want to display very good remark. So that's it. So if you want to have another else if, I'll just copy this so that I will not anymore type again and again. Let's just change the condition and the remark. So let's see, 95. Okay, so I think 95 and let's see, above, or if the value is greater than 95. So we'll not anymore have here another range, or will not, I will just close the range. Will not specify a range because all the values that is bigger than 95 will be this. Okay, we'll have a remark like this. Excellent. That's it. Okay, so if the user specifies or specified another entry that is not specified here, okay, in the range, we'll put here a description or a remark not in range. Okay, so that means if the value entered in the text box is not uh, contained in the statements, in the conditions, okay, it will have a remark not in a range. Okay, so let's run the program to check how it is. So let's try to enter data. Let's say 67. Okay, not in range because only 75, okay, to 84. So let's say it must be some, okay, it's okay. Let's say 76. Good, because it's 75 to 84. If the entry is 75 to 84, that means good. Okay, next, 88. Not in range. Okay, I think I made a wrong a condition here. So I'll edit the code. So that's another pitfall of programming. We sometimes miss to specify a correct uh, operator, comparison operator. So I think I made a correct code now, or range now. So let's try to run again the program. Okay, so let's say 67, not in range. Let's say 80, good. 90, very good because 85 to 94. But if I'll put 94, very good still. 99, very good, excellent because it's bigger than, because the excellent would mean that the values bigger than 95. Okay, so that's it. So again, if I specify here a value that is not specified in the conditions, it will have a remark not in range. Okay, if it is 120 above 95, excellent. If it is 85 to 94, very good. If it is 70, or if it is 85 or 75 to 84, then good. So okay, that's how the if then statement works. That's what we complete in this lesson. Okay, so I hope you can find your time in working with these exercises if you have a Visual Basic .NET program. But if not, it's okay. Just try to understand the concepts and the application for your future activities in this lesson or in this course. So that would be all. Thank you for bearing with me, and God bless.